Hi friends, I have a smorgasbord of watercolor to show you today. I'm starting with two half pans that just arrived, and the first is Hurricane from Prima. This is from their tropical set, and I got really excited when I was on Blitsy the other day and I found out that Prima actually sells refills, individual half pans of colors from their sets. Because I'm not looking to buy tropicals or the classics. I already have 3 Prima sets. I don't need 2 more tins in my house. But Hurricane looked really beautiful, so I picked it up for less than $3 and it arrived yesterday. And it is a sort of middle of the road blue. I was expecting a more green blue, but this is closer to what I would call Copenhagen. It thins to a really nice icy blue. It's really lovely. And I'm comparing it to Quor Indanthrone Blue, which I also just recently picked up, and to Phthalo Blue Red shade from the Daniel Smith line. And you'll see it's lighter than the Indanthrone Blue, but it's a similar pigment. And it's the same value as the Phthalo Blue Red shade, but it is a little bit less vibrant. So those are the differences between those 3 blues. I'm really excited to have Hurricane in my palette. I think it's going to be a nice sort of split the difference between those. And it granulates very nicely too, as you can see. The other is Schmincke Metallic Gold, and I thought this was going to arrive after Christmas, but it arrived today. I'm a woman of simple pleasures, and when mail gets here early, I am pleased. And this gold is everything that everybody said it would be. I put off buying it. I was using Quor Iridescent Gold, which was not cutting it for me because, as you can see, it has great shimmer, but it is barely there for pigment. There's not much gold color in it. So I was also using the Jane Davenport Alchemy, which has amazing pigmentation, but very little shimmer. And you're going to see in just a second, even though they're still wet, the Schmincke Gold is shimmering like crazy. And Alchemy isn't. It's a lot more subtle, which is great. It has its uses. I use it a lot. But my go-to when I needed gold was Gansai Tambi Starry Colors Red Gold, which was beautiful, beautiful color and coverage and shimmer. But it's not technically a watercolor. It doesn't behave like a watercolor. And when I mixed it with my watercolors, I didn't always like the result. So I'm very happy to have the Schmincke Gold in my palette because it has everything that the Gansai Tambi has without being a Gansai paint. So those are my 2 latest acquisitions. I'm really stoked to have them in my main palette. And this is a mini palette that I've put together with 14 colors. I wanted something pocket size that I could stick in my tin of tools and take with me everywhere. This is a business card holder, and these are eyeshadow tins that are magnet responsive. I ordered all of this off of eBay for under $5. It took 3 weeks to get here because it came from China, but it was super cheap, so I can't even complain. And I sprayed the inside of the tin with matte enamel by Testors, and I will be switching to gloss enamel for the next palette that I make because the matte, as you can see, it stains as you use it, and I don't think the gloss will do that. I think it'll be much more like a conventional metal tin. And inside here I've got some white gouache by Winsor Newton. I have Winsor Newton Naples Yellow, and I have Winsor Newton Quinacridone Gold. And then I've got a Quinacridone Burnt Orange by Quor, which looks very magenta here, but it is orange, and Quor Quinacridone Burnt, or Quinacridone Crimson, rather. It's not burnt. It is unburnt. And Winsor Newton Cotman Dioxazine Purple, which is my absolute favorite. Next to that, I've got that Daniel Smith Phthalo Blue Red shade. And then moving down to the second row, I have Quor Indanthrone Blue again. I really like having both of those blues in my palette. They're both super versatile for mixing and just really lovely on their own. I've got Cotman Indigo, which is a staple for me, as well as next to it the Cotman Turquoise, one of my all-time favorites. It shrinks in the pan a little bit more than other paints, so that's something to watch out for, but the color is absolutely worth it. New one for me, Daniel Smith Apatite Genuine. It's so pretty. I can mix such beautiful greens with this with amazing granulation. And then next to that I have Winsor Newton Green Gold, so between those I get really all the greens that I need. And Payne's Gray from Cotman as well. And then my very last one is another Daniel Smith. This is Moonglow, and if you know anything about Daniel Smith watercolors, you have heard of Moonglow, and it's probably in your palette. and it should be there because it's fun. So I can take this with me absolutely anywhere. I can journal with it. It has all my favorite colors. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I have to be careful because the case is aluminum, and at some point I'm going to upgrade to a stainless steel one so I don't have to deal with corrosion. But that is my mini travel palette. Finally, in my watercolor Christmas, I have a palette that I'm putting together for my best friend who is just starting to do watercolor. And actually today I received a hand-painted card from her that is so beautiful. She's incredibly talented. So I poured some of my favorite paints for her and put them in a little tin that I bought at Michael's, and I'm going to swatch those out. As you can see, cutting pizzas was never my strong suit when I was a delivery driver. But I have Core Quinacridone Crimson once again, Core Indanthrone Blue once again, and Winsor Newton Quinacridone Gold once again. Can you tell what my 3 favorite primaries are? So I have these all in a tin that again has been sprayed with the matte enamel, and they have magnets on the bottom of the pans. And I'm actually going to use my Glitz C palette from Jane Davenport to mix the secondaries for this swatch card because I don't want to stain her palette before she gets a chance to. That's her job. I would call this a muted primaries palette, but as you're going to see, the secondaries that it mixes are very jewel tone and very vibrant, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And I tend to be really heavy-handed with my watercolors. I err on the side of too much, and the Indanthrone Blue goes on so dark that I kind of just totally covered up my own writing. But oh well. So just letting these pool on my other palette. And I am going to start with an orange. I've got newsprint down on my tabletop so I can just wipe off my brush when I'm done, and it's starting to leak into the frame here in the corner. But it's going to make for really pretty newsprint when it's all done. So super happy with this orange. It looks really nice. And next is a green, which again, very jewel-toned and vibrant. And I think she'll be pretty happy with that. And then this purple is amazing. I like my purples to be electric in the pan, but when I'm mixing them, I like them plummy. So I'm really satisfied with this purple. So that is the palette that I've put together for my best friend. I hope your Christmas is as watercolor filled as mine already is and as hers is going to be. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the new year.